what I really love about the 125s in India is as a group of motorcycles, they are competent. And I did a story, if you haven't caught it, you should, which has the Extreme 125R, which is currently a very popular 125, the Bajaj N125, which should have been more popular than it became, but didn't do really well. And we had the third big 125, which is the Raider. Now, the Raider is the clever motorcycle in this group because it created the idea saying, you can commute, you can have fuel economy, but you can have a little bit of fun. And that got to a point where everybody suddenly had a Raider competitor, which happened over the last 6 months. And I really love doing this story because riding a good, competent 125 is just so much fun. So I remember back in the day, British magazines who would normally test superbikes, they'd suddenly get like a CG125, which is also a Honda from wherever. And then they'd be like, oh, so much fun, you can throw it around. And you're like, fools. And because we were riding those commuters, right? Those were our motorcycles. So you could understand what the excitement was. But we have been testing 160s and 250s and 390s and 400s and all that. And suddenly when you go back to 120, you say, no, I get it. There is a lot of joy to be had in this simplicity of machinery. However, I want to draw a clean line in the sand where the shine, competent, fuel efficient, boring. And that's how it's supposed to be, not objecting to it. That's how I think the Super Splendor would be, the Glamour would be, etc. When you come to the Raider side, suddenly there is a sense of small joys. And the CB125 sort of taps into that, but it does it less than the competition, which I initially thought would be what I would hold against it. Because I would say, hey, the Raider is a little bit lighter. Okay. The Raider makes a little bit more performance. And we know that the Raider is actually a really fun bike to ride. And therefore, the CB125 Hornet is a little bit subtle. Then you ride the Extreme 125R, which looks like that, and you called it the cockroach. And it's a linear, smooth, clean motorcycle to the point where you can see the competence. You can have a little bit of fun on it, but you're like, I wish it was a little bit livelier one way or another. And then you ride the Bajaj N125. Horrible seat, strange looks. What great suspension, what smoothness. So you're like, this class is fun. And if these were one of your first bikes, you would get hooked to motorcycles easily. Now Honda's thrown their sort of card into this poker table, as it were, right? And it's such a good card. So first, the engine is the Shine engine. So it has those qualities. Right. When it starts up, no kicking noise because it's a starter generator now, which they deployed on the SP125. Okay. Same thing has come here. It's got a modicum of more power, like we're talking less than half horsepower more kind of. So I'm not going to go into the performance extra. It's fine. This is a much heavier motorcycle in theory than the Shine. I'm going to say 11, 12 kilos heavier than the Shine, 7 kilos heavier than the SP125. So it's gained weight, most of which I think is bodywork, not anything else. And then you'd assume that, oh, they just renamed it. I mean, it's a Shine frame. Then you look at it. The Shine and the SP125 have twin shock rear suspension. This thing is a monoshock. This thing has a 37mm upside down fork made by Showa. And suddenly you're like, this is not what you would call a small chassis redesign. It's quite a bit of work. Rear monoshock itself is a massive change. Yeah. So I'm not clear whether these were borrowed from the Hornet 2.0 and brought to this bike or not. I'm not clear. I don't have a brief from Honda on the product. But as far as I can tell, a lot of work has gone into the CB125 Hornet, but the similarity of the engine undermines your idea of how much work has gone into this motorcycle. Just to clarify things a bit, the SP doesn't have monoshock. No. It doesn't. It's the same as the Shine, but with extra features and equipment. So none of them even have the upside down forks? No. 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 Okay. No. So the engine is the commonality. Which is why, unfortunately, I think the CB125 doesn't get due credit for the amount of work Honda actually put into this, because that is not the same frame. It might have the similar geometry. Correct. It might have similar weight to the rivals. But can you call the chassis something that they said, oh, we'll put this engine, we'll put the chassis, put a bike together? No. It is quite a bit of work there. Just these two changes would require a lot of work. Does the Honda CB125 Hornet gleam with the shine of traditional Hondas? I think mostly it does, but there's a couple of things that you should really know. And if you'd like to find out, please watch MotorInc first. The episode is now playing for free on the MotorInc app, and the app is always free to download.